I'm in the land of saunas and Nokia phones. Welcome to Helsinki. Hello, my name is Richard, and I want to say a quick thanks to all of you for watching my video. So this is the video of my trip to Helsinki, the capital of Finland. I stayed there for 3 days, and I was there in September. I feel like it's the worst time to visit because it rained almost every day and it's kind of difficult to go around. But anyway, I still had a great time. So first, here's a quick summary of the places I visited in day 1. I arrived in Helsinki from Stockholm by sea. So from the port, I just walked a few minutes to get to my first stop, the Sky Wheel. Then I went to the Uspensky Cathedral. Then I walked to the Helsinki City Museum. And from there, I walked to the Senate Square, where you will also find the Helsinki Cathedral. And then finally, to the Bank of Finland Museum. So just 6 stops on day 1 before I checked into my Airbnb and called it a day. I'm in the Sky Wheel Helsinki. I did not ride the Sky Wheel, but an adult ticket costs 14 euros and the ride takes about 12 minutes. This would be a good experience if you want to get a 360-degree view of the city. I'm in the Uspensky Cathedral. The church was completed in 1868 and is the largest Orthodox church in Northern and Western Europe. If you spot a church with a green dome and golden spires up on a hill, then that's the Uspensky Cathedral. The church was designed by a Russian architect, and another interesting fact is that the walls are made out of recycled bricks. The inside of the church is also beautiful with its intricate altar and paintings. I'm in the Helsinki City Museum. Entry to the museum is free and they have very interesting exhibitions focusing on Helsinki. The Time Machine exhibit features 100-year-old photographs of people and places in Helsinki. The lobby has a nice lounge area where people can read a book or just spend some quiet time. They also have a cafeteria here. On the other side of the building, they have an exhibit called Helsinki Bites, which I assume is going to be very nostalgic for Helsinki folks because it features stuff from the city's recent past, like old classrooms, payphones, comic books, and so much more. Another exhibition is called Broken, which focuses on mental illness. I'm in the Senate Square. This is the cultural heart of the city, and most of Helsinki's attractions are just a few steps away from the square. So we have the Helsinki Cathedral in the north side, the University of Helsinki on the west side. In the south, there is the oldest building in Helsinki. And finally, the Government Palace on the east side. And in the middle, you will find the statue of Alexander II. I'm in the Helsinki Cathedral. This is for sure the most recognizable structure in the whole of Helsinki. The church was completed in 1852 and was previously called St. Nicholas Church and also the Great Cathedral. The unique feature of the building are the sculptures of the 12 apostles scattered on the roof of the cathedral. I'm in the Bank of Finland Museum. They have an interesting and enlightening exhibition on the history of money in Finland and the history of modern finance. They have an exhibition of its old currency, the marka, before they switched to the euro, and they also have old versions of the euro. There is another section where they present certain topics like how credit cards work, how exchange rates work, how money transfers work, and other more complex topics. All very interesting, and by the way, the entry to the museum is free. So that's my last stop. Again, just 6 stops on day 1. I kept it very light on my first day. And oh yeah, I got so excited to see Taco Bell here in Helsinki. I haven't had Taco Bell for so long, so that's what I had for dinner. On day 2, I started a bit late because it was raining quite hard in the morning. Anyway, my first stop was the Campi Chapel, which was just a few minutes walk from my Airbnb. Then I passed by the Amos Rex Museum, then the Museum of Contemporary Art. Then I spent about an hour inside the UD Central Library before heading to the Parliament House. Next is the National Museum where I had my lunch. And then finally to the Temple Aukya Church. So that's about 7 stops and all walking distance from each other. I'm in the Campi Chapel. It's also known as the Chapel of Silence because it's intended to be a place to calm down and have a moment of silence in one of the busiest areas of the city. And everyone is welcome to enter the church, irrespective of religion, philosophy of life, background. But unfortunately, when I was there, the church was closed due to manpower issues. I haven't checked, but I hope that they have since reopened. I passed by the Amos Rex Museum. I didn't go inside, but this museum focuses on Finnish art from the 20th and 21st century. I also passed by the Museum of Contemporary Art. I'm in the Central Library UD. The design of the building is very modern and quite unique with this long wooden wave. I don't know how best to describe it, but yeah, on the website they say that this is not your typical library, and this is in fact a meeting place, an activity place, or whatever you want it to be. You can meet friends here, create art, read, and relax. There are 3 floors, and on the 3rd floor is where you would find the books. And they also have outdoor spaces on the 3rd floor. I passed by the Parliament House. I also did not go inside, but this is of course where their parliament would convene and make legislation. I'm in the National Museum of Finland. The museum showcases Finnish history from prehistoric times to the 19th century. The building itself looks a bit like a Gothic church with its stonework and its tower. The prehistory exhibition showcases artifacts like swords, animal remains, and other treasures from the end of the Ice Age to the end of the Iron Age. Then you go through more than 130,000 objects that form different exhibitions about the Middle Ages and the most recent history of Finland. This section, called The Story of Finland, is especially heartbreaking, and it shows the struggles of the country as it goes through several wars. But this photo booth is so much fun, and you can pretend to be the president of Finland at least for a few seconds. It was past lunchtime, and I was just so happy to see that they have a cafeteria inside the museum and that they serve rice. I haven't had rice since I went on this trip, so I was dying to have rice again. So this buffet lunch, if you have the entree together with soup, salad, coffee, or tea, it's about 15 euros. I'm in the Temple Aukya Church, which is also called the Church of the Rock. This is a very interesting church because of its unique and open layout. The building is partly underground and was directly excavated from a hill, so the walls of the church are the actual bedrock. The main feature inside the dome is the circular skylight, which provides a very somber lighting inside. The church also has excellent acoustics, that's why this is a very popular venue for concerts. Take note that entry to the church will set you back 5 euros. But I think they only charge an entry fee if there's no church service ongoing. After going to Tempeliaukyo Church, I had a bit of time left, so I went to a shopping mall. I had dinner in Hesburger, the popular local burger chain, and their burger tastes very much like McDonald's, which I really like, so I enjoyed it. Yeah, so that's it for day 2. This is day 3, and my first stop was the Esplanade. Then I went to the Old Market Hall. I didn't spend too much time there. Then off I went to the port to take the ferry going to the Suomenlinna Island. I spent maybe 2 to 3 hours exploring the island, and then I went back to the city, and my last stop was the Design Museum. I'm in the Esplanade, known to locals as Espa. This is a green space in the middle of the city, a place where tourists and Helsinki residents come to do picnics, relax, and be entertained in summer. The park is very close to the harbor, and you can spend a few hours here resting, relaxing on one of its benches or inside one of its many cafes. I'm in the Old Market Hall. The Old Market Hall in Helsinki has served its customers since 1889. There are many shops inside selling different kinds of food like cheese. They also have meat, honey, wine. Of course, they have smoked fish. And in the middle of the hall, there is a cafe if you want to grab something ready to eat. This is worth checking out even if you don't need to do any shopping. From the Old Market Hall, it was just a few minutes walk to the ferry port where I purchased a ticket to go to Suomenlinna Island. The ride was very quick. It was only about 15 minutes, but it was a fun ride because you will get to see the other smaller islands as you go to Suomenlinna. So Suomenlinna is a sea fortress on the coast of Helsinki with around 1,000 residents. It is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The fortress was created in the 1700s and it has served 3 different countries: Sweden, Russia, and ultimately Finland. There are 6 kilometers of walls, 100 cannons, tunnels, and parks. There are also museums and restaurants on the island itself. You don't have to pay anything when visiting Suomenlinna, but if you want to enter any of its museums, then of course you have to purchase a ticket. The first thing that you will see when you arrive is the visitor center where you can grab a map and plan your trip. They recommend the blue route, which is quite conservative, and you can finish in about 3 hours. My first stop in the island is the Suomenlinna Church. The church was built as a Russian Orthodox garrison church in 1854, and in 1918 it was converted into a Lutheran church. My next stop is the Military Museum. The ticket costs 7 euros. The museum showcases military equipment, vehicles, uniforms from the 4 wars that Finland fought in. I also went to this nice elevated viewing point that overlooks the adjacent island. And this is when I crossed the bridge going to that island. The Suomenlinna Museum is just next to this bridge, but I decided not to go to this museum. So my next stop is the Great Courtyard. This is the main square of the fortress, and in the middle of the square you would find the tomb of Augustin Ehrensvard. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but this person is the designer of the courtyard. A must-see during your visit to the islands are the sandbanks and artillery. From here, you will have a magnificent view of the coastline, and people also go to this beach when it's warmer. Just a few minutes walk from here, I reach the King's Gate. The gate itself is very iconic, and this served as the gateway to the fortress. My last stop is the Submarine Museum. The entry here is free when you purchase a ticket to the Military Museum. And now it's time to go back to the city. I'm in the Helsinki Design Museum. This museum is devoted to the exhibition of both Finnish and international design, including industrial, fashion, and graphic design. Of course, the highlights of the museum are the Finnish products that became popular globally. I think when it comes to design, Finland is a definite leader. Their aesthetics are very minimalist, and at the same time, the designs are very functional. So that's the end of my trip. I didn't go to so many places. It wasn't by choice because it was raining almost every day. But looking back, I thought it was still good because it made my trip less stressful and I got to spend a bit more time in each spot and appreciate them more. If I had more time, I would probably go to the other museums like the Museum of Contemporary Art, maybe go to some of the smaller neighborhoods, and maybe even go to a sauna. Those are good enough reasons for me to go back. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.